good.
All right, YouTube, once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn football and also the Florida Gators, who will be, Auburn will be visiting the Swamp this particular weekend. The number 7 Auburn Tigers against the number 10 Florida Gators. Now, this game is always pretty much high consequence, it seems as so. So much so, these guys met in the 2000 SEC championship game. It was actually a rematch game where Florida actually won both of those. Now, we have the privilege of having Jacob Eastman, who was an offensive lineman on that particular team in 2000. Jacob, tell the Florida Gators and the Auburn Tigers a little bit about yourself.
Like Kennard said, Jacob Eastman here, played from 2000 to 03. Pulled from 2000 to 03 on the Florida Gators team. I was a guard, actually. Was not a starter, wasn't anybody special. But, hey, I played on the team. Actually, got the 2000 SEC championship ring my freshman year. We had a lot of good games. I enjoyed playing. I had Steve Spurrier. I had the luxury of having him as my coach for 2 years. Then Ron Zook came in and I believe ruined everything. This is going to be a great game this weekend. I look forward to it. I'll be down there. A lot of my ex-teammates will be down there. We're going to come down for homecoming. Hopefully get the win, but, you never know. Auburn looks great this year. Florida looks okay. We've had some struggles with some teams that, people have looked at and kind of, put us behind the buck. This is the first time in the Swamp that, top 10 team, and we've been the underdog. So it should be a good one.
Now, Jacob, you mentioned that you were under Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier, obviously one of the best coaches in Florida history and college football history. What are some of your takeaways from, his guidance, his leadership? And you're around a winner on a daily basis and learning all that stuff. How did that impact you?
As far as, day-to-day life is concerned, Steve Spurrier used to tell me a whole lot of different things. one of the things he used to tell you, never give up. It's a never give up type of mentality. I can remember games, that we were down, 2-3 touchdowns, and it's a never give up mentality. Although, we may not have won those games, he always told us, he said, if you give your absolute best, you can look yourself in the mirror the next day and you can say you gave your absolute best and you won't have any disappointment. I can say that for this team this weekend, if they can actually go into the Swamp and they can give it the 100% and say they did their best, it doesn't matter win or lose. Of course, I want to win, but it doesn't matter win or lose. They'll be able to look themselves in the mirror.
You talk about a 5-0 Florida Gator football team, and the mass media is not giving Florida a lot of credit because, you got Miami, who's struggling a little bit, went on the road and, beat Kentucky. Also, you talk about an SEC win over Tennessee as well. So right now you got a 5-0 team who is undefeated right now in the SEC East, obviously in the driver's seat. Here's my take on it. You got a 5-0 team that's playing great defense, 24 sacks. Mm-hmm. They are very opportunistic with the football as far as, creating takeaways and things like that. What is your perspective coming into this game against Auburn? Obviously the most competition that they faced. How do you feel about the Florida Gators coming into this game based on their line of work so far? What is your take on these Florida Gators that maybe some of the Auburn folks don't know about?
In my personal opinion, to me, it's all going to be a game. I used to say it all the time, but it's all won in the trenches. It's going to be won in the trenches this game. It's all going to depend on the offensive line, how they can hold off y'all's defense. Y'all got a very good defense there. And it's a matter of holding them off. If they can get pressure on Trask, I don't know how good he is under pressure yet because we haven't seen him under true pressure. To me, the few times he has been pressured, he's a lot better than Franks was. Not trying to be funny, but Franks, every time that he got pressure, he got happy feet. Trask is not that person. Trask will stand in there and he'll take a hit. You've got y'all's defense that is excellent. Our defense is excellent. I do not think it's going to be a very high-scoring game, even though y'all's quarterback, Bo Nix, he's awesome. But I literally do not think he's going to be able to get away with the passes he's gotten away with on our corners.
I got you. Now, Jacob, if I could put you on the spot as a Florida Gator, former Florida Gator, you're going back to homecoming. Obviously going to have a good time with some of your former teammates. It's actually awesome that you joined us on the show today. If you could give us a prediction based on your football expertise and based on what you've seen of both football teams, we got to factor in that Auburn is going down to the Swamp. That's a tough place to play. If you were to give us a numerical prediction of how this game could go based on all that you know about the Florida program and, you know, Auburn as well, how do you think this game is going to go?
Man, putting me on the spot here. To be honest with you, you know, like I said, it really depends on who shows up. I think the difference maker, I think me and you have talked about this, the difference maker for us, two things, like you said, we've got home field advantage. The Swamp is a very tough place to play, especially if they don't let us get behind. If we don't get behind and in the fourth quarter we're still in the game, you guys are not going to be able to hear. The Florida fan base is very tried and true, and will get you riled up a little bit. Dan Mullen is another difference maker. I guarantee that his playbook has not been emptied, and I'm pretty sure we're going to empty it. You know, my prediction, honestly, 23-20. I don't know which one will be the 23 and which one will be the 20. I hope it will be the 23. My pick, you know, I've got to go with my team, so 23-20 Florida.
Jacob Eastman, once again, joining us, interview former Florida Gator, was on that 2000 SEC championship team. Great that he stopped by here on Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn to give us a little bit more coverage on Florida than we might have had before. He says 23-20 Florida. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a stretch for some of the media, but hey, I think it can happen. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.